Good morning, everybody. It's 100 days until Christmas 2020. So today marks a milestone. We've got 100 days left. And I noticed last night that a lot of prominent YouTubers in the Star Wars space were live streaming coincidentally during the Monday Night Football games. And it seemed like perhaps there was some anticipation that a trailer was imminent, that Monday Night Football was going to be the mode for releasing that trailer, and so everybody wanted to be live streaming just in case. But the funny thing about it was nobody was posting on their live stream that it was for the purpose of the Mandalorian trailer. And this morning, as I logged in, I noticed there's some additional news coming out, and there were some leaks taken from the Disney Plus app or the Disney Plus streaming service from the Mandalorian season 2. Some screenshots that people took from there, and that's all over Twitter this morning. So I thought that we would take a look at those. And there's some misinformation out there too. Surprisingly enough, people have. It started with that Entertainment Weekly article that came out a week or so ago that contained some of the first sneak peek images from the Mandalorian season 2, and people were taking a look at those images and then speculating what they might mean, and some of their speculation contradicted exactly what was in the article itself. So that we have an issue where people are rushing to get information out and they're not reading. That happens a lot. People don't take time to read things that they start then talking about. So I thought we'd spend a little bit of time looking at that as well. And then once we get done with that discussion, we'll see if the trailer releases this morning while we're on, or there's some thought that it may come out as early as 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. So it's possible it could come out during our stream this morning. I don't think that's likely. I think there would be a little more lead up to it, but who knows? Lucasfilm, Disney, Disney Plus, they've not exactly been making a lot of sense lately. And that'll lead us to the other part of the discussion that I'd like to talk about. People are frustrated with Disney, Lucasfilm, and I'll put it more on the Lucasfilm side of it. And we'll talk about why they're frustrated and what has happened around the sequel trilogy. What has happened around many of the actors involved with the sequel trilogy, and not only that, but we may even touch base on the Gina Carano thing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I thought we'd start with some of the images that leaked last night. So let me share my screen with you guys here, and we'll look at these images, and let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. You guys don't need to see me. I'll stretch this out so that you can see these images. So these were taken from the Disney Plus app. You can see these are screenshots that folks took, and the first one here is of the child, and it seems to be on a vessel. You can see a bunch of like debris or material in the background here. Perhaps a mast going up this way. And the reason I say that is because there's another picture of this, and you can see this big mast going up here in the middle, and it seems to be it's a water vessel of some sort, and has some stuff on the deck. If we then take this picture with this mast and compare it to this picture, I think this is the same mast. Right, so we've got the child here on a water vessel. They're on some water planet of some sort, or planet that has water. And then we see here the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, is on that vessel as well. We've got a worker there, and that person is he's looking, or the Mandalorian himself. He's looking out over the side of the vessel. And then lastly, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I thought there were 4 pictures. Let's see if I can get I think there's a fourth picture. Let's see if I can just scroll down here through uh, my my Twitter feed and see if I can find that fourth picture for you all. Um, and of course, there's all kinds of nonsense, but here we go. Yeah, there's more than four pictures. So here's a picture again of that water vessel. But then this caught a bit of information. We've got the Razor Crest there with an X-wing in the back. There's a lot of speculation about who might be piloting that X-wing. Could that be Ahsoka? Might we have just in another cameo from one of the directors? It's hard to say who that might be in that X-wing, but it's fun to speculate. And so folks are speculating about that. And then there's this blown up image of the same, and they're trying to figure out what this is over here. I think it's a reflection in the Mandalorian's helmet in the window, and we're just getting some reflectivity there. But again, people will speculate, and so those are the images I wanted to share from the Mandalorian that were kind of leaked last night, and kind of show you guys. I think it's exciting, and it's also leading to maybe some speculation. Might they release the Mandalorian season 2 earlier than announced? Because this showed up, these images showed up on Disney Plus app, or with the Mandalorian there. So people screenshotted that stuff, and then it went away. And they're wondering if there might be an announcement, and they might release the trailer and surprise release the season a little earlier than expected. Again, I'm a little dubious of that. I don't know that that's necessarily what we're going to get, and I wouldn't put up my hopes. I'm certainly not going to stay up and watch a Monday Night Football game or an NBA game to try to catch a trailer off of some rumor. So that's my thoughts on that front. And I'll apologize. I'm not getting the live stream chat here in my news feed or my YouTube feed. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but hopefully that'll resolve itself, and I'll be able to interact with you guys here soon. So anyway, we'll see what happens there with the live stream chat, and I hope I'm able to catch up with you guys. So then the next thing I just want to is we're talking about the leaks with season 2. Before we talk about maybe where it's going and what might happen, was with the first look that came out in the Entertainment Weekly. So I'm going to bring up that screen again, and we're going to talk a little bit about this Entertainment Weekly article. From this article, there were a lot of pictures that came out, and then folks were then taking from that picture and speculating what might be in the season. And I would encourage, this article is easy to read. It's got a lot of good information in it, but people were thinking that there might be a time jump between season 2. They're looking at Carl Weathers here with the beard, and looking at last season, he didn't have that white beard, and his outfit is a bit different, with a little more accessories on it there. And then some speculation that the child might be bigger than he was. Perhaps he's grown, and so there was talk about that. Some speculation over, might this be some sort of time jump? But if we look right here in the article, and it says directly in the article itself where people were taking these photos from, it says, as Mando and the child continue their quest, expect the bounty hunter to face a series of obstacles that will increasingly challenge his paternal loyalty to his ward. And I'll remind you, Paper Moon was an inspiration for the Mandalorian, and that relationship between the Mandalorian and the child was modeled somewhat after the the characters in Paper Moon. So that comes from there. But then you'll see right at that we start very directly after the first season, and he's going into very dangerous territory. Pascal 45 says very directly after the first season. What do you think? Might there be a time jump? Oh, people, read. Read. It's a very directly after the first season. So I think we're going to go to, as it says, directly from the first season into the second season. I don't see a time jump from the first to the second season. So again, we get pictures of Carl Weathers there. And then, of course, we get a great picture of Moff Gideon. And might he be on a Star Destroyer? That'd be fantastic. I think we're going to see this look a lot more like Star Wars that we've seen in the movies and in other shows. And of course, here we got Gina Carano, and there's been quite a mess with her as well. So anyway, that's what people have been speculating from. They've taken these two articles, and again, I apologize. My live streaming is not coming up. Let me just go ahead and open up another YouTube browser, and I'll see if I can just follow along in the YouTube browser for chat comments, because this is just simply not going to cooperate with me this morning. And I'll just open this up in another browser here. Mute this. I'll just pause it there. There we go. So, good morning. Hey, Adam, Fanjecture, you're on. Good morning. It's good to see you here. Lord Vito, thanks for coming. Adam, no anticipation. You knew it wasn't dropping. Of course it wasn't dropping. There would have been something. And trick me once, shame on me. Trick me twice. It's the other way around. The George Bush thing, right? So that was funny. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So they got me to watch part of an NBA game, but that NFL Monday Night Football game last night, yeah, I did not. I wasn't expecting it either. Lord Vito supposedly should be around 10 a.m. today. Josh said he's streaming at 9:30. Yeah, Josh has bought into the hype, and I noticed that all of the YouTubers who are kind of leading with that are not directly saying where they're getting the information from. They're not quoting. They don't want to get burned again as bad as they did the last time. So yeah, I think Josh is planning to start a little bit earlier this morning. He's hoping that's going to drop. But I also saw that our friends over at Kessel Run Transmissions, they were saying they don't expect it today, maybe at the end of the month. And they're not expecting it today. So I tend to fall more with them. And let's see. Oh, Trev, hey. Oh, Moncal would be interesting. Oh, I hadn't even thought about that, Trev. That's a really good point. Moncal would be a great planet to visit. You might get some Mon Calamari. That'd be wonderful. Harvey, good morning. Thanks for joining. And they didn't get to you. They never said it's the scoopers who don't have any info. They didn't. Yeah. And, hey, Trinity, Second Street Marvel. Thanks for joining us this morning. So, so the Mandalorian season 2, it's going to pick up directly from the end of season 1. There is no time jump. It was in the Entertainment Weekly article itself. It doesn't take any speculation to know that. You can read it directly in black and white right there. So season 2 is going to pick up directly from, and they're going to continue this adventure they're going on, and we'll see where the story takes us from there. So so there's that part. The other thing that Mike Porter is the source. I see. Mike Porter's our leaker. Yeah, confirmed by Harvey. Thanks. Thanks, Harvey. Yeah, yeah, so Gina Carano has been in front of Twitter for some time, and some of the speculation on this mid-season shift, course correction, has centered around her. Not only her, but perhaps around Rosario Dawson, who both have some somewhat public issues, and both of those issues tend to revolve around transgendered or LGBTQ community, all of that, and it's kind of made a huge mess. And Gina came out last night, and she kind of clarified what her intention was, and this is something that I kind of picked up on back with the original post when all of it started with Gina. If you'll remember, she posted that picture, the somewhat famous, of the guy in Nazi Germany who wouldn't do the Nazi salute, and it was about standing up for what's right against the crowd. Right, the crowd was doing the Nazi salute. He saw that he wasn't just mindlessly going into that. He had objections to it, and the story goes on from there. There's more information. She posted that. Well, a firestorm started up after that because the LGBTQ plus community had really been pressuring Gina to come out as a supporter, and she refused to. And then, as part of refusing to come out and just post it for them, as well as Black Lives Matter, there was specifically, they kept pushing her, say it, like say Black Lives Matter, post those words, and she refused to do it. And then as she refused, people started kind of putting the pressure on, wanting her to come out as a supporter, somebody who would stand up with them in this equality, social justice movement that they have going. And she just refused to do it. And so people are now taking sides. She's anti-LGBTQ, or she's anti-trans, or she's anti-Black Lives Matter. And some people are championing her for that, and some people are kind of putting her on the stake for that, right? In the way I see it, and it's probably because of my wife, Mrs. Claus. Right? If I were to tell my wife, "Hey, go cook dinner," Santa would be a hungry Santa. There would be no dinner because she's not going to do it. And she would skip dinner as well. We wouldn't have dinner. She wouldn't have dinner. I wouldn't have dinner. There would be no dinner. Period. Right? You don't tell my wife, do this, because she won't. And it's the old proverb or proverbial cutting off your nose in spite of your face. If you tell her specifically you must do something, or you pressure her to say, say this specific thing, she'll never say it. And she'll go the rest of her life without saying that. And I see Gina very much in that same mold. They're telling her specifically, say this, and she's saying, I won't. The more that you tell her she must, the more she digs in her heels to say she won't. And that's not to say that she's not in support of their cause. It's that she's not going to bend to the pressure of the group. And that goes back to that first picture she posted of the guy in Nazi Germany. And it continues on. That story continues on. And then yesterday she comes out and specifically says, hey, it has to do with not bending to pressure. The transgendered folks, they started pressuring different people to put on their gender pronouns following their name. So he, her, they, them, whatever pronoun it is that you associate to yourself, they wanted the celebrities to put it on after their name. Well, Gina went and put beep bop boop after hers, and they took that to be mocking them. And she came out yesterday and said, no, I'm not mocking. I'm simply saying I'm not going to bend to that pressure. And she clarified that. I would presume that she is more likely than not a supporter of those types of things. Being in Hollywood, being an actress, and being involved with those studios, she is surrounded by friends, people who are uh, in those categories, and likely agrees with their cause, supports them, and wants to be supportive of them. But she is not going to bend to public pressure to say a specific phrase or to put these pronouns or whatever after her name. Hey, Drew's Reviews. Oh, good morning. Thanks for joining. Just sneaking in some before you start your shift. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Drew. So the whole ordeal with Gina, I think, is overblown, and it symptomatic of some of the problems we have in social media today. And the Den of Nerds yesterday, there's a video he encouraged folks to go watch out on Netflix, and it involves this the social media dilemma. And I went and watched it, and a lot of that has to do with this same sort of thing. It's like different groups of people are being categorized into those groups, and then as they get categorized into those groups, their news feeds, all of the information targeted to them becomes more and more concentric around that information, and it becomes more and more focused. And if they pick up a trend that you're following, you'll get more of that, and it begins to influence your thought patterns, your behavior patterns, your social groups, and we've seen it all over the place. We see it not only within the Star Wars community, but we certainly see it with U.S. politics, and if you have a social media account, likely you have the same experience that I have, and I see many people who are misinformed on both sides of issues. I deal with people from the left who make claims about the president that simply aren't true, and I see people on the right make claims about the people on the left that simply are not true. And it's easy to debunk these with just a little bit of search. And I'm happy to say that I've got people in both of those groups on my news feeds in Facebook as well as Twitter, and that's purposeful. And I try to stay out of the limelight there. So Drew's Reviews. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the plug. Thanks so much. And what we see are people isolating more and more and more, and grouping with other people who are like them. And one of the reasons that I was initially drawn to the Den of Nerds, for example, is that Josh is very good at kind of breaking down issues as it goes in these fandoms where things are being overblown, and he kind of gives you a real take on it and his take on it. And his take is typically moderated to some degree. It's neither too far left or right. Now, with that being said, I kind of got miffed at him over a recent position he's taken on the sequel trilogy. And I want to. It really bothered me yesterday. It got to me quite a bit, and I contacted Josh privately in a direct message. I don't want to be the guy in the Den of Nerds who is being argumentative or being obstinate, being a troublemaker. It's one thing we have Trinity or Adam out there poking just to have fun, or Josh poking at them just to have fun, or me poking at all three of them just to have fun. It's fantastic, and it just shows camaraderie and friendship that has joined. But when it comes to a point where you're starting to come up with hostilities towards one another, that's not healthy. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy in the Den of Nerds community. I don't want to be that guy out there in social media. I want to be more of a moderated perspective, and I want to come across as somebody who's well-reasoned and thoughtful. And with the recent things that have happened, we had the interview with Daisy Ridley that kind of showed that that her character Ray had some, uh, let's say, less than fully fleshed out story arc, and they were making decisions last minute, and that has led people to just lose their minds. Josh and executive producer Al both have completely lost their minds. They're done. They're through with it. The sequel trilogy to them is trash. It's a dumpster fire. They've already burned it to the ground and set it adrift. It's gone, not to be embraced ever again. And that's sort of what this stream that I watched yesterday essentially was. And for me, that was hard to take because I still love these movies. And there are lots of people out there who still love the sequel trilogy movies. And despite the lack of thorough planning, it doesn't mean that there wasn't a plan. It means that the plan wasn't thoroughly fleshed out. And then what I see is that Lucasfilm has begun to learn. And we've talked about this before, and I think plenty of people have acknowledged that they have learned their lesson. And a lot of the blame then gets put onto Kathleen Kennedy and also Disney, because Disney pressured Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, to put out the sequel trilogy half-baked, or maybe not even fully mixed, right? They didn't even have the recipe put together yet. And so they kind of rushed to production with a very thin storyline developed. And regardless of what anybody says, I still believe there was a plan from the beginning that Palpatine was going to be involved. And there's evidence for that. There's evidence in the novels. There's evidence in The Force Awakens, and while not nearly sufficient, but there's some evidence in The Last Jedi even. But between those, there's a hint, a sprinkling of the Palpatine in there. In if you really want to pull it out, you can find it. And that's not to say that they were all of a sudden last minute threw him in there without ever thinking of it before. That's not the case. The case was that they had a very thin line. That storyline was not fleshed out at all. It had no constructs around it, and they allowed then the story to kind of ebb and flow around that line freely. And I used an example. I'll share it here as well. It's like you had planned a trip from New York City to Los Angeles, and you just said, okay, I want you to take these people from New York City to Los Angeles. I'll meet you there. And that's it. So J.J. Abrams starts off the trip. He gets in the old familiar family sedan. Everything feels cozy. It's got a lot of the creature comforts that you grew up with. It's familiar. It brings back nostalgic memories, right? The family sedan. You're with your friends, you're with your family, and you're traveling on this trip together. And that's where we started off. From there, all of a sudden, we get on a different mode of transportation, like a bullet train or something, and Rian Johnson then takes us out of the family sedan, puts us on a different mode of transportation, and off we go. The second part of the trip, people aren't fond of traveling in a train. That's new to them. People don't particularly care for the scenery. They don't care for the accommodations, and that part of the trip is unpleasant to them. Other people are super excited. They're like, wow, this is brand new. And they really got into it. The third step then is like going in a stunt plane, or all kinds of barrel rolls and flips and turns and all kinds of excitement. and you're brought down safely to a landing at the end in Los Angeles. So you went from New York City to Los Angeles, but you had different modes of transportation that felt very different from each step of the trip. And that left a lot of people to feel discombobulated, right? They felt disconnected because each one of the storylines didn't follow the same mode of transportation as the one prior. And it led to a lot of misinterpretation of the story. And what I see over and over again in these criticisms, and Josh and Al are just as guilty as many others, myself included, there were parts of the sequel trilogy that I would have preferred to be different, and I thought were being set up differently. But what people do is they build these straw men, and then they complain, and they take it down with their arguments, saying, look, this straw man never stood up. This straw man never stood up. This straw man never stood up. And therefore, the whole thing is trash. Put your straw man out of the equation. Take your presumptions, your own interpretations out of the mix, and take the story for what it was. And with that story for what it was, with the characters as they were, the character arcs as they traveled, for me, were fantastic. The sequel trilogy to me is wonderful, and I will enjoy it for ages to come, decades to come. My children enjoy it, my family enjoys it, and I have personal close friends who thoroughly enjoy the sequel trilogy. And folks, we've been around Star Wars for decades. This is not new. It's not like we're just casual fans who just watch the movies and don't know anything about the characters, or that we're somehow less inclined to study story arcs or understand the hero's journey, or we're somehow uneducated on what Star Wars means or what the Star Wars universe is. That's a fallacy, and that just means that people are trying to tear down other people because they don't think like them. And I'm not going to do that. If you don't like the sequel trilogy, then I perfectly understand why. My goodness, I have heard it enough that you can find it on about any YouTube channel you want. Most of the prominent Star Wars YouTube channels have been extremely critical of the sequel trilogy. Even some of the most supporting, Star Wars Explained, they're critical of the Rise of Skywalker. John Campea is critical of the Rise of Skywalker. Those two specifically, and Hello Greedo, he was very supportive, huge critic of the Rise of Skywalker. That's fine. You can find critics of the sequel trilogy all over the fandom menace, all over Star Wars community, and it appears that Josh and the Den of Nerds have joined into that group. They are going to absolutely burn down the sequel trilogy and set it on fire. And to me, that's upsetting because I love that so much, and I love this community so much. And I have grown a great deal of respect for Josh and what the Den does because of how they take a moderated view of things. So I'm still dealing with that. It's still something that I'm not necessarily thrilled about, and just wanted to share. Look, I'm a person. My name's Brian. For those that don't know, my name is Brian Miller. I have a life. I've got a family. My wife's Kathy. I've got 2 kids, Shay and Kayla. And we love Star Wars. I have friends who love Star Wars and know me by my name, and they know that I do Santa stuff. I have grown up since 10 years old when I first saw the Star Wars movie. And I have been invested in this franchise. I've shared before what it's meant to me as an individual, and it hurts me when I see people just attack without any consideration or moderation in that thought pattern. And so I'm a bit disappointed, but yesterday I got such great support from Trev, from Adam, Mike, Mike Porter. Oh, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's your life since middle school, and yeah, yeah. Mike, I don't know if you saw, but you got blamed for the current thought that the trailer is going to be released today. You were the leaker. So that was fun. We had that discussion earlier. So look, I wanted to just share with you guys that I'm struggling to deal with where the Den of Nerds is going with the sequel trilogy, but I absolutely love Josh. I tried to meet up with him last week when I was in Pittsburgh. It just didn't work. Would have paid for the guy's lunch if he would have just taken some time off. And that's the other important thing that came from that social media uh, uh, dilemma video. It was encouraging folks, disconnect a little bit, enjoy some time with your family. And last week I was on vacation. Kathy and I went camping up in Northeast Ohio, and we spent some time out there and went outside, took walks. We just enjoyed the weather. We went to a big mall and walked around, an outdoor mall, walked around, and just enjoyed getting some sunlight, some fresh air, and spending time together, disconnected. And I would encourage, I did that last night as well. I got myself a Fitbit watch. I'm trying to take better care of my health. And at the end of the day, I want to disconnect and then connect with family. And that's important. I think that's important that we spend time with those around us. And I don't know if Adam, if you're live streaming this morning, let me go see if old Fan Gesture is live streaming this morning. I want to be respectful of his time slot and not bleed into his time if he's going to be on. So let me see if Adam has something set up this morning. I don't see anything. So just to kind of go back, I know we've had some people join us later. I want to circle back and just kind of recap the whole Mandalorian season 2. I personally, I don't think we're going to get the trailer today. I know that the insiders, those who follow Mike Porter's leak, they think it's coming today. No, just kidding, Mike. No, I think that I don't think the trailer is coming today. And we had some leaked pictures come out yesterday from the Mandalorian from Disney Plus that had some of these screenshots in it, and that have people really excited because you can see this was taken from the app, and these pictures show some season 2 pictures. So Trev came on earlier and said perhaps we might have some stuff here from Mon Cal. That would be fantastic. I don't know if we'll get that or not, but perhaps just another water world. Who knows? Hard to say. But we've got those pictures, as well as there a few others that were in my feed. Let me come up here and share those again. Here we go. So you see this vessel that's on the water. It's got this mast in front and some cargo on the ship. And then if you look at the picture of the child, you see that same mast here with the cargo around. So this is the child on that vessel. And you also see the Mando on that vessel. And then and if you go back to the Entertainment Weekly article, the first one that came out, there was a lot of speculation people had about what time frame this might be from season 2. And in the article itself, it specifically says that we start very directly after the first season. He's going to very dangerous territory. So all of this speculation that there's going to be a time jump, people didn't read the article. They just looked at the pictures. Santa's familiar with children that do that. They just look at the pictures, and Santa reads the story. Yeah, but when you see a story, you should read the words. It's a lot more informative that way. So just poking some fun at some folks who put some speculation out there that perhaps there was a time jump and they didn't read. Oh my goodness, they didn't read because it's right there. We start very directly after the first season. So just give us some good fun, and it's great to see you guys here this morning. Let's see what else we got. Uh, what we got? Adam quit YouTube to start a daddy daycare with me. Oh, that's great. Santa is almost an empty nester. Uh, our youngest daughter is a sophomore in college, and of course she's have to take classes here, or she would be. She Adam, I miss your live streams, man. I was on vacation last week. Yeah, reading words is dumb. Oh my goodness. The other thing that happened to Santa last week, I don't know if you guys can see. I've got this knock on my head. We have a fifth wheel motorhome RV, and there's a door, an underneath door where you can put storage, and I put it up, and there's a latch that holds the door up, and that latch was kind of faulty. It was coming loose, and I kind of had to jigger with it a little bit to get it to stay, and so I got it up there. I got that clasp to hold it, and I reached in to grab a hammer out of the storage, and when I grabbed that hammer, that thing let loose and cracked me on the noggin. Oh, that hurt. Ouch. So we went and got a brand new little latch, and that's now fixed. So you see that knock on my head? That's where that came from. So that's and Trinity, it looks like you have a new logo. So very good. Guys, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think that stream is going to come out today, and we'll see here. I know that Josh is going to go live. I think at 9:30. He's coming on early. I just want to share with you from my heart where I am. Look, I love these movies. I'm still critical of them, and I'm sad that the Den of Nerds has decided that the sequel trilogy is officially dead to them. It's hard for me to hear that. I love you guys. I really, really do. You guys mean the world to me, and I really appreciate you all being here this morning. So, is that why Santa wears a hat? Oh yeah. Mike, if season 2 trailer comes out, you're driving to Ohio and buying you lunch. I'll tell you what, Mike. If we ever cross paths, I'd be more than happy to buy you lunch. In fact, if we could get together, lunch is on me. Lunch is on Santa. We went to the theater Sunday, and we watched Godzilla King of the Monsters. We rented out the theater for our Bible study group, and it was a very good experience, and I would do that again. I would pay to rent a theater to have our friends in there and watch a movie together. It's worth it, and I'm at a place financially in my life now where I can afford those things, and it's nice to be able to do those for your friends. So I'd be very happy to do that. My my brother, thanks for asking. He's doing better. He's home. He's recovering. He's still not back to full health. He's liable to still have effects of COVID for months to come as that works through his lungs and gets that worked out. Lord Vito, yeah. Yeah, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. No, look, I love this. I love those movies, and the lack of preparation and the lack of planning on Disney's part is evident, but it doesn't mean that the movies themselves are any less enjoyable for me. It's good to see that they're perhaps learning their lesson, but boy, they make it tough for supporters to have to go and have these discussions with our friends who are so angry that they can no longer enjoy those movies, and that's really bad. So look, it's 9:15. I've got to go. I have got to get some work done. I've been on vacation and I've got some application development to do today. I'll have the streams on in the background, and I'll be in touch if anybody wants. And hopefully we'll get a Mando season 2 trailer soon. I don't think it's going to be today. So that's my exclamation bet. What is that? I can't even remember now, Adam. I think it was. I think that was bet. Yeah, that's where I'm putting my chips today. Yeah. All right. Great to see you guys. I'll go ahead and sign off here, and hopefully we'll be back on again soon. You guys take care, and until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye bye.